when this is channeling through and when this is coming out, I pretty much am starting right at where I want to start in the wheel. So when I start the healing part of my morning, when I start the healing part of the meditation of the day, I ask for who's coming through, who's the goddesses who are with me today. And I instantly went to Saint Anne. I went to the grandmother energy, which is a lot of what has been channeling through lately. But the grandmother energy is really coming up in the root. And so the bottom part of the healing circle that's taking place is in the root. So when I asked if I would need cards, I got yes, that we need a card, because the cards are to, the cards are a part of the divine connection that's taking place, because it's coming from such a strong, powerful sense of goddess energy. And so I've been on fire all day, and a sense of, it's been a sense of going all the way down, and because it feels all the way going down, it feels like it's going all the way down to the grandmother energy. So I'm starting grandmother, I'm starting back into the root of our identity, which makes sense for the first question we're coming up with tonight. And that is the question of our identity, who, being our true selves. And when we're hiding, are you done hiding your true self? Or how much of your true self are you not letting out? Or how much of you is still being portrayed based on who you think you should be, the roles that we play? And I recognize that within my own self. I found myself becoming very frustrated and angry that I'm still a Cinderella in the family. I still take care of everybody's needs. And I play that, not just a mother role, I play that grandmother role. I keep the shit together. But I speak the truth, and then not everybody wants to hear the truth, because a mother will not speak the truth, and the grandmother at that point don't give a rat's ass, and she speaks the truth. Grandmother's done coddling everyone's emotions and speaks the truth. And so I found myself being very Cinderella, but also being very much that grandmother kind of energy. And I could feel my grandmothers with me a whole time. Like, they were just like, who cares what anyone thinks? You need to do this because you've worked too hard to be who you are, and in your true essence and in your own identity. And so as that started to come through, I picked up the sense of Saint Anne, who for anyone, she's not owned by the Catholic. She is the mother of the healer Jesus, or the mother of the grandmother of Jesus. Sorry, the grandmother of Jesus. She's the mother of Mother Mary. So she comes in with a sense of a powerful presence. And when she comes in, she almost comes in as the mother of all goddesses, is what she feels like to me. The mother, and whether or not she's Saint Anne in every person's faith, religion, but she's just that mother who's the mother of everything. But she's the one who has no problem speaking the truth. And that's what this group is about. That's what this whole circle, this cycle, everything is about, speaking the ultimate truth and getting to the point in our lives and in our healing where we can say what we need, what our needs are, show up as we want to show up, be who we want to be. When you look at great goddesses of the world, when you look at people who have that powerful voice, right now we're looking at Marianne Williamson, who's one of the greatest healers, one of the greatest spiritual leaders. She's she has that strong energy. Doesn't mean we all have to like or support or be a part of her, but when you honor the presence of this kind of people, you look at the root and how she's had to heal that root energy, how she's had to be strong in her presence of her lower energy, of knowing who she is, of keeping her emotions in check, of getting real with what's a real emotion, what's in that whole young teenager of us. What are we fighting for? Are we fighting for truth? Are we fighting for just to have our own way? Are we having tantrums? And moving past all of that and getting to the real honest truth of when you speak a truth with conviction, because you just know what you know, because you've let go of everything else, of fear, guilt, everything. When you speak that truth, you know you're speaking a truth that really resonates with who you are in your circle of healing. It resonates with all of the essence of how you're showing up in the world. And so because of that, because that's the kind of energy, is that I don't get to do this work alone. I get to do it with the channel. I get to do it with what's coming through. And the chatter that's coming in from this side is crazy. But there's a lot of whys that are coming up, is what I'm feeling. A lot of, why are we here? What brings you to this circle? What brings you in here today? What are you searching for? What do you need most? What does your heart desire? Has anyone taken a moment to think of what your hearts desire? What do you desire most as you go through a 4-week healing process? What is it you need? And as you bring your thoughts there for just a moment, I want you to start to think there. I want you to put your thoughts in there. Not to the identity, not to the root, not to anything. Go to your heart for just a second and think, what does my heart really need? Not what my heart wants. There's a difference in what your heart wants, because we want to slip ego aside. What does my heart need? Just asking yourself that. You don't need to have an answer. You just have to start asking yourself, what does my heart need? What does my heart desire the most? What does it need to find happiness, contentment, joy, love, whatever it may be? Start thinking along those lines. And as you do, I'm pulling out the card that's going to resonate with us throughout this session. Alliance. And the card that comes up is all about alliance. And it's Hera. And it's alliance. And this is what we need so much, is that we need to be in alliance. We need women to come together. We need a strong support system, and these circles and our whys of what brings us together is that something inside of us is calling, along with what our heart desires for our purpose, our growth, for everything, is that what we're craving in the female, what we're craving as these strong, powerful goddesses, women are coming from such powerful sources right now, such figures. Like they left us alone to do it on our own for a long time. Then they called in our mothers and they said, I'm sorry, girls, not you guys are still not getting this. You guys are still you're still trying to be too nurturing. You're trying to be too this. No, you got to take care of your own needs. You need to be important. We sacrificed enough. You need to be important. And so this is where this is coming in. It's like they're lifting off the lid. There's a lid being lifted off us right now. And it's like we're sensitive, we're exposed, we're emotional, we're crying, we're all of that, and just saying we need a support system, and we need something that's stronger than how the world has been running right now. And if we look at if you explore goddesses and you look at goddesses and you start to study goddess energy and feminine energy and just energy in general, everything is threaded, just like a spider web. Everything is threaded. Everything has a threading. Everything is threaded together, including the goddesses and how they've been through every generation, every era, every time, every religion, everything, all threaded together. Women's bodies, animals' bodies, time, everything is threaded together. They used women's body to be able to tell time. They took women's bodies and they used women's bodies to be able to generate time. Without women, without animals, there would be no world. Without insects, there would be no world without us. I mean, yes, we need men too. But we are the birth, we are the rebirth. And so, but we've taken on such a powerful role in feeling as if we need to take it all on, that we've caused ourselves to be depleted, depressed, tired, adrenal glands issues, neurological issues, all these things that are arising because we have not just taken on one role, we have taken on so many roles. When we open ourselves up and said we want to be like men, we want to be powerful, we want to be in these energies, we forgot that we already had the power. We didn't need the power. We needed to just go back, and we needed to look at things differently. We needed to look at where the problem began. And the problem began in society and not social media. In society, right back to when they start to give women identities. When they start to tell us how we should be, how we should show up, even how they dressed up a goddess, how they made her look to be powerful so that people would respect her, honor her, because she wasn't good enough the way she was. She had to get decorated up. You had to be decorated. You had to look a certain way. And then they took some that were so powerful and they made them sound like they were evil, because if we make them sound evil, we'll take away their power. We've taken away our own power, but we've also allowed our power to be taken away. So we've had this constant shift and movement throughout the threading, throughout the weaves, throughout everything that's been taking place. And what broke out of all of that was alliance. The only place we broke was with alliance. We've still been fighting for ourselves. It's just that we've exhausted ourselves because we stopped being a support to each other. And what's coming back together now, and the why of this healing circle, is alliance. It's support. It's love. But no one can love us until we love ourselves. Because without us loving ourselves, we can't give that kind of love. And so even to be able to honor anything we need to go through, pain, grief, all of those things, is that we have to love ourselves enough to say that we honor ourselves enough to have those moments, to have those times in our lives, to be there for our true selves, to acknowledge that I can't be everything for everybody today. I don't have what it takes to be everything for everybody today. And if you don't have what it takes, then you don't have what it takes. So in my studies, in my work, that I've really recognized the importance of like in India, and the three Indian goddesses of Saraswati, Kali, those type of, and the faces, the three faces of these Indian goddesses, and how when you look at this, when you look at these times, is that the biggest thing that we have right now in the world, in the lack of alliance and in the breaking of the weaves, is a lack of value and worth. The biggest thing we have as women is a lack of value and worth. And it is the things that we're actually fighting the most for. And the other part of that we have a lack of is a lack of love. We have it for everyone else. We don't have it for ourselves, because we have been taught from the root, from the grandmothers, to give it away. To take care of everyone else's needs first. Take care of ourselves last. To bring ourselves back, to heal the root, to heal the sacral, to heal those areas of us, to repair umbilical cord connections with our moms, relationships that we've had with our moms, or even with their moms, with grandmothers, is that we have to start with loving ourselves. And when we do, we start to be able to look at the desire that's in our heart in a different way, in a different light. And so when we look at the three faces, we look at what we bring most. What we bring as women is that we bring wealth. We bring security. We bring all of that. And I was reading an article that said married men live longer than single men. And married men live longer than single women because they don't have the same worries on them, because the woman helps support them and always makes them feel as if they're more valuable. They do not have to struggle the same way because there's always a woman there to help them. Women energy brings comfort and security. And comfort and security to everyone else does not mean that you leave yourself out. And you're not here to nurture their needs and to treat everyone as if, oh, come here, let me take my power and give to you. That's not what we're here to do. And when we do that, we're using that old society again of that let's mark women down as being not as valuable, not as worthy. And we do it. We do it. And so the other one that come to me was that we are the most powerful forms of offering blessings and curses. A woman who has been scorned, a woman who has been hurt, can set about a fire. But you've got to remember, when you set the fire upon somebody else, that you are also having to pay the price for it. So women who have been abused, women who have been hurt, women who've had men, or anyone, don't have to be just men, other women that attack this root, this sacral area, this umbilical cord connection, is more likely to go into the energy of being angry and setting about a blaze of fire, not of love, but of anger. And that we actually don't realize how much that other person that hurt us actually carries that until they have to repay that somehow. That's all in the goddess circle stuff. Bigger than what I want to get into today, but that's how powerful our energy is. The moment they hurt us, they do get that karma attached onto them. But we're also so powerful in our blessings that we enrich the lives of so many people. We enrich the lives of so many things within this world. When we lay our hands upon our children, upon other people in this world, and we say, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, we send about a blessing that ripples throughout the world. That's how powerful we are. So if one woman does it, the next woman does it, the next woman does it, the next one. If we can start to change and we start to lay our hands upon ourselves and say, you're beautiful, you're worthy, you're wonderful, you're all of that. No one can take away your power. Imagine the ripple effect that this world is going to see as this circle grows, as this circle gets bigger. So as we look at our identity, as you look at your true essence of who you are, how you want to show up, how much of you that's showing up today has been the character role that you have been playing, or is the way somebody else told you should be, or is it to piss somebody else off? So I'm going to be this way because everyone told me I'm not supposed to be this way, so I'm going to be that way. So they told me I'm not supposed to be that, I'm going to be that because they told me not to. Is that serving you? No, because it's still not your true essence. Who are you? What are you? And so when we look here and we look at the root chakra, and if you've not done any chakra work, I forget sometimes that not everybody's done chakra work or those type of things, is that the root chakra is red. And the root chakra is right at that tailbone area. It's right down here. And when the root chakra is kind of in overdrive, you'll get vagina clenching. You get like, you literally will feel as if there's something twitching in that area when you are awakening, healing in that root chakra. When we come out of being survival mode and go into survival instinct of just being able to just know that I don't have to be fight or flight brain. I don't have to live from that place. I just know. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And this is also your grounding, your security. So when we don't feel safe, when we have been invaded, when you have people that have taken away from us, that root chakra is so closed off. And that's where we start to misalign ourselves with our identity. And because often we turn to using our sexuality as either in a way to overexpose ourselves or to hide ourselves, like I'm not worthy of it, or I should cover up. And you often will find people that say, oh, you should cover up that cleavage. You shouldn't let no one see that. That's not a woman's thing. Or I always use the lipstick thing. Oh, red lipstick. You shouldn't wear red lipstick. It's going to draw too much attention. All of those type of things all comes from those rooted stories, rooted identity things that we've had instilled into us. Now you're turning 40, cut your hair short. And so all of this is in that rooted. And so you become protected, and then you become that fight or flight. So then you do the things that piss people off. And then you have in that sacral area, which is in this whole womanly area, in the uterus, the ovaries, throughout the hips, throughout the lower parts of your spine, those parts of us. And that's our emotional, our intimacy, that sexuality. So everything that and this is orange for us. And so the root chakra is red, this is orange. So as we're going through the meditations today, we're going to be working through the red, through the orange, because we're using the meditation to really connect you to your true identity so that you can start to write through your identity, not have to be searching so hard for it, allowing it to start to show you, allowing yourself to start to see yourself in the light of who you know you are. And when I talk goddess healing circles, this is also male too. So men can be I love when men do goddess healing work, because it's that connection into their feminine and into their masculine. There's nothing wrong with a man doing goddess healing work. The only reason why we have the god and the goddess separate is because we have a bit of both in us. Everyone has it. But with time, with gladiators, fighters, that type of energy, that control type of powerful energy, that's not true masculine. That's called fear. That's called control, big ass ego. Over here, female, powerful, in the light, not shrinking down, little damsel in distress. That's not true feminine. Feminine is powerful and strong. Man is powerful and strong, and they work well together. So a man who's awakening, a man who's healing, and then their friends say, oh, you're following your woman around, blah, 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 blah. No, no. He's way more powerful than that man who thinks he's being the brave bully. Way more powerful. Remember, that's a fearful child. That's not a brave man. That's a fearful child. That man that's over here, that's willing to sit in the goddess circle, that's willing to do this work, that's a man who's coming together. Because ultimately, this two, this masculine, this feminine, is exactly the same. We vibrate on the same energy. We vibrate on the same light. And we are all that oneness. And when this oneness comes together, our level of healing, the only thing different is that in that sacral area, the parts are different. Other than that, and we have different purposes of why we're here. So as we're going through, we're going to be working through this sacral, this rooted chakra, and all the way in through the uterus, and getting to get really clear with the whole uterus sac. And when I look at Mother Earth, when I look at Earth, I call that the uterus. Sun and the moon's like ovaries. It's all linked. It's right. If you look at it, that's how it came through in my meditation today. Mother Earth is like the uterus. She creates and she keeps growing new stuff, and new things keep showing up. So even as these storms are happening right now, all these storms are in that water sac. They're in the fire. They're in all the things that are washing away and becoming new. But it doesn't mean that we have to feel like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a big deal, but a lot of it is out of our control. And then we have the sun and the moon. So different parts of you're going to feel different at certain times. It's okay to be emotional, but recognizing that your emotions are not always real. Your emotions are not always real, and that we can't let ourselves dictate our lives sometimes based upon our emotions. Or so emotions and fears, same type of thing, right? Is that when we get into the essence and the sense of trusting your instincts, is that that's not your fight or flight brain, or you're trying to control the world instincts that you have. It is your true beacon system that is coming through for you. So as we work ourselves up around, I want you to start to think of what is something in my life that keeps me from living my truest self. What is holding me hostage? What is keeping me trapped? What is it that I keep living trying to please everybody else? Anything like that. Who am I still trying to please? Anything of those type of questions that come up in coaching questions is things that we want to start exploring. So when you're thinking to yourself as we're going through this meditation, I want you to think of yourself as wearing a cloak. I want you to go in wearing a cloak. So when we go into this meditation, I want you to go in cloaked, as if you're a goddess who has a cloak on. When we're going in cloaked, when you're going in your truest essence, you don't need to see who you are. You just have to put your cloak on. Because if we go in seeing ourselves, we're going to go in trying to create ourselves into what we think we want to look like. So the reason why I want you to go in cloaked is because as we go through, the root of the problem is what we're working away from. We're working away from the root of our problems, the root of what keeps us from being ourselves. We're going in cloaked because the root of the problems in our lives are the root of other people's definitions of us, or other people's ways of identifying us, or the hurt and pain that we've carried, that we wear as armor, is not what I want to see, not what we want to see going forward in our session. And it'll all make sense as we're coming through. I'm only getting this message now. I'm just receiving this. Tell everyone to put their hoods on, is what I'm getting. Tell everyone to put their hood up. So imagine as if you all have a hood. Imagine as if you're all walking in this beautiful light. And your cloak can be any, no, your cloak can't be any color. Your cloak has no color. Your cloak is like just dark. Your cloak, I just heard that. Don't let your cloak have any color. Let your cloak just be whatever. Right now it's just like a sack and it just has a hood. No, and I have no idea where this is going to go. I really don't know. I'm trusting this, and I'm trusting that this is going to take us through. And it is part, and because it's a part of an identity thing, is that we're taking away any connection to our human identities that we have right now. That's what the cloak is for. So I want everyone to close your eyes. And I am using Palo Santo Holy Wood as my smudge for today. And we're going to be in here a few moments. So if you have any outside noise or any outside interference, just kind of let it just slide by. And then I want you to take a deep breath in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you breathe in and as you breathe out, I want you to imagine as if you can feel that cloak. Feel the weight of a cloak going over your shoulders. And as it's going over your shoulders, imagine as if you can feel it draping over the front of you. As if there's a little string tying it just loosely around the front of your neck, covering up your heart, covering up the whole front of you. And then imagine as if you can feel your hands reaching up and placing the hood over your head. And as the hood comes up over your head, imagine as if it covers even all the way down to your third eye. As if all parts of you, except for your eyes, your nose, your mouth, everything else has been covered. And as you start to feel that cloak, I want you to imagine as if you can feel your feet moving. And I want you to start to walk one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. And as you're walking, I want you to imagine as if you can feel the sensation of bare feet. You can feel the bottom of your feet touching the ground, the grass, the stones, whatever it may be, but feel as if you get a sensation throughout your feet. I want your feet to feel the ground underneath you. As we start to feel and sense what it feels like to be walking barefoot. And as you're walking barefoot, I want you to imagine as if ahead of you is a path. And as you start to move forward, notice that that path is directly in front of you. And I want you to start to walk that path. Start placing your feet on that path. And as you're moving one foot in front of the other still, notice your cloak. Start to feel the movement of your cloak. Notice there's a sway, as if there's a breeze starting to move your cloak. And as your cloak starts to move and shift as you're moving, feel that weight again. Feel that weight on your shoulders. Now notice that that cloak is like a symbol, a symbolic gesture of all who have been a part of identifying you. Society, the world, life, school, religion, family, people, everything. Now, as you start to feel all that takes part in creating our identity. Notice how much heavier that cloak gets. And as you're moving, notice that from the very bottom of that cloak starts to form a light. And as that light starts to light up at the very bottom, notice that it starts to go up on the inside of the cloak. A beautiful white light starts to rise up. And as it does, it starts to form a barrier around your body inside of the cloak. And as you're moving, notice that that light is moving with you. It's moving up over your body, up and around, up and around. And notice it enters up around your head and goes all the way down through the front, covering over your eyes in a beautiful white light, as if you have like a little veil that now has formed over the front, over your eyes. And as that veil, as that white light forms all around you, notice that you're at the end of the trail that you're walking, the journey, the path. And ahead of you, you see a beautiful red flame. And when you start to see that red flame, I want you to start to move towards that red flame, the color of the root chakra. And as you move closer, I want you to notice that there is a circle of women. It has an opening at the bottom, an opening at the top, a space to invite you in, into that circle. And as you're in that circle, start to feel the alliance you're making with white light that's forming from one woman to the next woman, from one goddess to the next goddess. And notice that one of these women connects with you a little more than all the rest. And as you start to feel the connections of these women, I want you to notice that those hoods that you have been wearing starts to fall back. And as they fall back, notice there's a beautiful purple light that forms in the center of the red fire. The violet flame starts to shine. And as this violet flame starts to shine, I want you to feel and sense right between your eyebrows a third eye opening, as if you can see through the veil to that woman that stands out to you. And as you see that goddess, I want you to notice that you recognize her, that you have seen her before, either in this life, another life. Imagine as you reach out for her, that your cloak starts to open. Allow your hands to start moving out, starting to reach out. And as you do, notice that a beautiful orange light starts to light up around the red and the violet. And with that, notice that she is in the orange light, that she is a part of the sacral, and that she is sacred. And as you reach for her, notice as your cloak opens that you feel a thread connecting you to this powerful woman who's in front of you. And as you look through that veil with your third eye, I want you to notice that she is you. That beautiful, powerful woman that you're igniting with, that you're connecting with, is the true essence of you, who has been standing in the circle with the alliance of all of the other women waiting for you to show up, waiting for you to be ready to remove that cloak, to stop hiding yourself. And as you move towards her, notice that there is a beautiful light that forms around you and her. And as it does, That beautiful light pushes that cloak all the way off. And as that cloak drops away, feel your shoulders. Feel your shoulders coming up. Feel what it feels to be lighter. Notice your back, your spine. Feel the weight coming off your back. Notice your spine stretching and expanding out. As you start to see, without other people's judgments, without other people connecting, telling you who you should be, that your true essence has been waiting for you. As you look at her, I want you to look at her and admire all that you see. For she is you, and you are her. And as you notice now, as you and this beautiful self, this true identity, starts to come together, I want you to notice that the flames, the red, the orange, the purple, all start to form together. And as if there is a big fire in the middle, I want you to notice that right in the very center enters up this beautiful goddess woman of the grandmother spirit, the grandmother energy, the grandmother goddess, that of Saint Anne, or whatever grandmother energy that comes to light for you. And as she stands there, notice that she now tells you, your voice is yours to be had. The root of you is yours to create. The sacral area of us all is to be healed without guilt, without judgment, without shame, without loyalty to others, but loyalty to self first. Who will you become? And as all of this leaves around the uterus, and as we feel the love of our children, as we feel the love of those who love us unconditionally, as we feel that love, we're not saying we're taking away the love. We're feeling it more, but we're feeling the self-love first. For Saint Anne is loving us. For the reflection of you is now loving you. For you are now loving you. With no cloak, only your white light, your powerful self, your essence of your divine purpose is now awakening within you as you are now about to walk a journey around the healing circle of love, of light, of healing on a level that you are now ready to heal. And as we allow the beautiful healing energy, imagine as if that beautiful self that's on the other side reaches out her hands and places it on your sacral area, all in your lower stomach. And hear the words, you are blessed. You are loved. You are light. You are beautiful. You are all of who you choose to be. And with that, notice entering in another big, beautiful orange light, entering through the hands of your higher self, of your beautiful goddess energy, of promoting your own self-love, your self-healing, coming from source, divine connection, entering through your hips, through your spine. What is your whys? What does your heart desire? What do we need? How will you identify? Now you have no cloak. You only have your light. Now notice as that orange light starts to lift away that there's a warmth being left in the areas of the lower self, through the root, even down through your legs, through your lower spine. And as that orange light lifts away, I want you to reach around, grab that cloak that hit the ground, pick it up, put it in a ball, and I want you to throw it into that fire, into that flame, and say, I am done. I am done hiding. I am done protecting anyone else by hiding myself. I am done putting myself last. I am worthy. I am valuable. I am blessed. And as all the cloaks enter into that fire, even the women who are watching in the recording, all of those cloaks hit. Notice the flame becomes bigger and higher and warmer and beautiful. For that is the light of the goddesses. That is the alliances. And there is Hera. And there is Hera. And enters Hera in a beautiful green and golden light as she circles around and she surrounds you all in the beautiful, feminine, powerful energy of love and light. For your healing on another level has now begun. For now, you are moving past the root. You're getting to the root of who we want to be, who we see ourselves as. And as we say thank you, notice the flames and Hera, Saint Anne, all start to rise up and away. And as they do, beautiful sprinkles, almost like fairy dust, but it's goddess dust, falls over us. And as you do, notice that the happiness and joy as we start to dance. Feel yourself just dance a little, as there's something to celebrate today. For today, you sing yourself. And as we dance, notice that our other self starts to merge into you. Your higher self and yourself of today, your human self, will never be separated. For you are now one. For you are still grounded as your feet are still touching the ground. For you are working in your higher self. And as you spin around one last time with joy, notice that you see that path again. And as you see that path, one by one, we start to walk back, as if we're walking out through the bottom of the healing circle, the bottom of that goddess, as if we're parading through the sacred land of root, saying we have taken claim to all of who we are. We are beautiful, we are powerful, we are being true to us. We are loved, and we're here to love. We come from love. We are love. One by one, feel your feet and notice how light you feel, how much lighter you are. For now, you're not cloaked. For now, you're in your truest of light. And as you come back, I want you to notice that the veil lifts. And as the veil lifts and moves on, there's a coating of protection and love and light on you. But your true eyes, your human eyes, get to see again your human self. And for now, you will not be hard on yourself. You recognize your human moments as part of the human experience. As you allow yourself to go through your healing with love and light. Notice that the path slips back and we enter back into the here and now. Here and now. Allow your eyes to open up and take a deep breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Namaste. What you guys are experiencing, I'm experiencing too. I'm the vessel of the messages, but I get to be a part of this the same way you guys are. So I get the same experience. So what's happening when we're working through the root and through the sacred of really getting clear on our identity and going through that question of how do I want to be seen? How do I want to show up? Is we want to get clear on that before we start letting things go. Because if we start letting things go out of anger or spite, say, I'm just freaking done with that, or I'm just done with that person, or I'm just done. What if it's not what we really want to let go of? What if it's something in our own self? What if it's something in our own ego? What if it's something in our own fear? How many times have we let go of things in our lives that we're looking back now going, I only did that because I was spiteful or mad. I wouldn't have done that in my truest self, or because somebody else wanted me to give that up. And so when we work around to the other side, the healing circle, I want people to start to really know that that we're not going in cloaked. We're not going in guarded. We're going in as our true self so that we can be clear, so that we can see clearly that true essence, and recognizing that we are, when we're seeing ourselves as worthy and valuable, that sometimes we do need to look back at things and just go, yeah, I might have done a lot of these things, not out of me being brave or me being courageous, out of me being fearful. And I don't want to let it go anymore. And I don't want to repeat. I don't want to repeat in my life of these things. So what we're ready to let go of has to be something that you know is a concrete thing that keeps causing you either the chaos, or you keep repeating that I'm always say we got to keep coming back and repeating the same lessons until we get it, that we keep doing over and over and over again in our lives. And I often see people give up things, and I've seen it so many times in the past few years, and this is like, oh, I walked away from that marriage because I was so done. And then a year later, they're like, well, I think I was probably some of the problem. I created some of the problem in that marriage, and I probably could have fixed that. Or you've beat yourself up for a lot of years for a decision you made 20 freaking years ago. So every decision that you make now is a decision based on self-sabotage. So every decision you make is about just settling or making choices to choose lives that are not really serving you, because I don't deserve better, so I got to continue to beat myself up. And I did that for years. I beat myself up for years over a decision that I had made years and years ago, that really, did I really deserve to be punished that severely for that decision? Probably not. So everything that I had let go of. So when I decided to walk away from an 18-year relationship, it was well thought through. It wasn't a decision that I made lightly, and it wasn't one that I left out of anger. But the first thing I recognized was my own role in that relationship. Was there a lot of problems on the other side? Yes, of course. But there was a lot that I contributed to me being, I tend to go into relationships being colder. And I'm not very cuddly, and I'm not very affectionate, because I never used to give myself. And so I don't want you guys letting go of things because you come across as colder, or you come across as, I'm just not very affectionate. But what if you really are? What if when you looked at that true self, that you've seen such affection, and now I'm finding myself in a relationship where I'm very affectionate because I let myself be, because I'm healed on a different level. And so the relationship is different. And so I don't want you guys going through this circle and going through a process without exploring who you truly are. And that's why getting clear on the identity is so important. It's like we go back to basics. We have to go back to basics. We have to sometimes go back through the files, and we have to look again and look again, look again. There's many times I've gone back and I look again, I look again. We help enrich We help people live in the flow. We help people feel comfortable. We help bless the world. We are always in that power. We're always in rebirth. We're always in birth. We're always going through many cycles. So because we have many cycles, it's so important to know who you are. And it's so important to stay true to you and stay true to your needs and stop beating yourself up for past decisions and choices or what if. What if I had done this different? What if? No, there is no what if. Everything has happened divinely placed. We might not understand it. We might not like it. But we also are here to remember that we're not here to do this journey alone. We're here to do this journey with the alliance of many other, in circles and in light, because the way this world is going is that we're not here for women to take over the world. We're here to come together in masculine and feminine, and so that we work in oneness. And that's the point of this healing circle, is that when we dance, we don't dance in a circle that's all women. We dance in a circle that's combined. Because why not? Why not dance in a circle that's combined? Why not dance? We're done. We shouldn't be segregating and separating ourselves anymore. We should be coming together. And the stronger we become in our identity, the more that we open ourselves up and we stop cloaking and we take our hoods off and we take our blinders off and we start to see the true essence. Then what message can we speak to the world? And as we start to let go, we start to move into how we're going to show up. What message will I speak? And then we start to get clear on what our hearts really want. Let's tell a new story. Let's start to create something new. Let's change society. Let's change things like how we view women, how we view men. Let's stop telling those stories. All men are like this or all women are like that. Let's start changing social media. Social media can be the best outlet of spreading love instead of hate. Let's start to be all of that. And when we start to let things go, do we let go of love? Sometimes the things that you want to let go are the things you actually love the most. Remember that, because we have to set them free. If we cage and trap out of fear, we're closing off our root, our sacral, and we're also keeping that umbilical cord knotted and tied. So then we live in fear, then we raise our children out of fear, we live our lives out of fear. We're done doing all of that. We want to start releasing and letting that go. So next week we're healing on another level, and we're healing into that umbilical cord, which I didn't really overly touch today, because in that letting go is also our umbilical cord connection. So we're doing a level of healing that takes place into the umbilical cord. So when we heal ourselves, we heal our moms. We heal our roles as mothers. So we worked grandmother today. We worked root. Next week we're working mother. Next week, if we let go, because as mothers, we hang on, and we hang on to if we could do this, if we'd done things differently. Let's just love and appreciate ourselves for who we are. So as you now have no cloaks, you might feel a little exposed this week. Your backs might feel a little bit chilly, or your backs might be a little bit on fire. But nothing's going to get in to hurt you, because you are guarded. We're always in the light. In any healing that we're doing, I never take you out of the light. You're always protected. So this week's, because the opening is actually so powerful, you don't want to overextend, but do answer your questions. Do start with the question that is in that book that goes with this week, because you might want to change your mind when we're all done. Because how have you been identifying yourself? Who are you? You might want to start to change that up. And what your heart desires, write whatever you want in there. Don't think about it, just start writing. Because you're still in the energy for at least a couple days. And so when you start to channel write, when you start to just write, you're doing the healing work that needs to be done, because your channel is speaking to you. Your higher self is speaking to you. I'm not the only one with a channel. You all have a channel. And it's helping you go through this process.